What's going on, guys? This is the Illegal Defense. We're going to get into it. Week 6 of the NFL. A lot of great games, a lot of crazy games and situations. We're going to jump right into it with the first game that we're going to speak about is the Chargers versus the Browns. That was a lot of controversy there with Brandon Staley and just how he approached the game and just this crazy like analytics thing that now the NFL is really like bought into. So yeah, the Chargers come away with the win 30-28, and that was kind of a shootout. The Chargers and Browns are going back and forth, a lot of lead changes, and yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts on this whole Brandon Staley thing with his decisions?
Well, you know, this has been a topic and a controversy for a couple years now, right? Once we've seen the influx of technology and using numbers and analytics to make decisions in sports, whether it's all around, right? Football, baseball, basketball, they're all using it at this point, trying to see what the numbers say and all these things. I think the problem here is sometimes people don't use it as a tool and they use it as like a almost like a bible or a guide that they need to
So
follow
use
instead of you want to you look, it's important, right? Analytics are not something that people should ignore. You're actually, if you ignore them, I feel like the media should crucify you just as much as they drag people who just
who
follow
just
analytics
follow it,
blindly. You know what I mean?
right?
Like there is a balance, a healthy balance that needs to be found. And some people know how to do that and some people don't. You see sometimes the younger coaches are kind of all about the numbers and they think that's what
That's the way to go.
matters.
Yeah.
And then the older coaches, on the other hand, are less about the numbers and they think it's all about just the way football is always being played, right? You just take the points, you never go for it.
Yeah.
And so the people who are succeeding are usually the ones who find that balance in between and know when to do it and when not to. The
Right.
truth is this: the numbers can say whatever they want to say. The numbers have a hard time
Measuring.
projecting reality, right?
Right.
If you have a team and for instance, let's say the Chargers, right, and they want to go for on a fourth down, you don't have a Jerome Bettis back there if it's
Right.
4th and 1.
Yeah,
You
you
know what
have
I'm saying?
Austin
You have
Eckler.
Austin Eckler, and Austin Eckler is amazing, right? He's a do it all back, but he's not a power back. You know
Right.
what I mean? So how does that change it? How does it change the numbers when maybe one team's offensive line is better than yours or whatever the
Or if
case
your
may be?
offensive line is playing phenomenal
Right.
or whatever the case, it could be opposite
Or
too.
you're going against a dominant defensive line. So the numbers, it's hard. They try to account for everything, but realistically they don't. So
Yeah.
you have to use this tool, and when it says, "Oh, well, 65% of the time this works, we're going to go for it." Well, yes, it says 65% of the time, but
Hmm.
that doesn't mean that's the real
That's the
number.
right.
And just because it says that's the number, how could it affect you if you don't get it? 65 is not 100%.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
There's a
sometimes you could,
45%
yeah,
measure.
sometimes we see crazy things happen all the time. What's the percent chance of them happening? Super low. They still
Yeah.
happen, or they still not
I
happen.
think
So
yeah, I think it's something that, to be honest, the Chargers, what's weird is I mean, offensively they played great this game. Defensively, there's a lot of questions. I don't know what's going on with their defense. It doesn't seem like it's living up to the hype that they had prior to the season starting. The Browns, they ran all over them. Nick Chubb had a great game. Jacoby Brissett was playing great. Um, Even Amari Cooper was playing great. Like they were just firing on all cylinders. And for or for for them to just go for it when it's like you can easily just punt the ball.
look,
I don't know, man.
two
I
things
just
here.
feel like if you're gonna because they had this last year too. where he would just constantly go for it. It's like at some point you have to kick the ball. At some point you have to be like, you know what? Let's trust what the defense is going to give us this game. So
In regards to this game, the numbers were fairly even on both sides of the ball, right? When it comes to first downs, third down efficiency, rushing yards, passing yards, time of possession, et cetera, et cetera. This was a fairly even game overall when you look at the numbers. What changed the one thing that isn't even is the turnover battle, right? They threw it interceptions, the Browns did.
right.
And so that's kind of, what you could point to in the box score where, okay, we know for as long as football is being played, you got to win the turnover battle to win the game. This was that kind of game. As far as this fourth down controversy, like you said, it's been going on since last year. It's bad when you're getting a bunch of people upset and confused and just feeling the need to say anything when this happens and you win the game.
And you win, yeah, exactly.
I mean, look, when you win the game, it's like that. It is what it is, right? Then it's like usually you're kind of you're free.
You're
get
free
off.
to say, like,
Yeah, you get off and nobody can really say nothing. You say, oh, yeah, well, we made the decision and it worked for us. And that's it. And then nobody can really tell you anything.
Yeah, but when
players are even tired of it right now.
Yeah.
The Chargers players have even shown their frustrations.
He even mentioned it.
Yeah, and it's like, sure, you got away with it. But when it's this clear that everyone can see, like, look, we don't want to be doing this because, yeah, we got this win, but we were lucky to get this win.
Yeah.
And the players, they don't want to be put in a situation where this happens again and then they lose the game when they should have won the game. You have to put yourself in positions to succeed. And, Brandon Staley, he seems to be a decent coach otherwise.
Right.
I mean, look, they have their issues too. Like other teams, like we said, the defense isn't really living up to expectations right now. But you have Justin Herbert. They've been able to come back and get big wins against people over the years. He just needs to figure out this fourth down stuff.
Yeah, he needs to figure it out because it's getting to a point where it's just like you said, the players. Once the players are kind of frustrated about it, usually players are excited about it. They're like, yeah, put the ball in my hands and let's go to work. Let's do what we could do. But when you're putting your team at risk for losses, then it's like, is it really worth doing that? Like,
yeah, when a wide receiver, when your star wide receiver is saying it, like, look, if it was like, your defensive tackle or something
then
like
it's
that,
understandable.
fine. It's the defense. And the offense doesn't even want to be in that position. That's when something's wrong.
It's just tough.